Welcome. It's our 30-minute level 2 practice that we're ready to get into. Today I've grabbed my doTERRA Adaptiv. This is an incredible blend for all things mental health and emotional well-being. It really settles you into a space where you can feel calm and collected and move away from your stressors, stresses and anxieties, and also create a little bit of focus. So we're going to use this today. It does have a bit of wild orange in it, so being mindful that you're not taking a whole bunch and rubbing it everywhere and going out in the sun as much as you're going to want to if you have it. It's an incredible blend. But it has some copaiba and lavender, neroli. There's a few others in there that are really connecting us to that calm energy. And then the spearmint and rosemary are there to create a little bit of clarity and focus for us. Oh, it's so, so beautiful and just makes you feel so good and centered. So I invite you to use it if you have it. If not, maybe you have one of the things that are in it. You're welcome to grab that and give it a go, or something else that you might have on hand. If you've been considering getting Adaptiv and you don't have it, I encourage you to. It is, you won't be disappointed. Okay, so enjoy some nice moments to breathe deeply that oil. Allow it to start to shift the way that you're feeling already, right? Even before we're getting into our practice, we're kind of using it to set the intention of a calm space, yet this clarity and focus. Okay, so as you sit and take a few nice deep breaths, and you're using this moment to observe your body and your mind and all things that are happening for you in this moment, I want you to think a little bit about this idea of calmness and clarity, right? So maybe calm isn't a word that often comes into your day, right? Maybe you're feeling a little bit stressed or hectic or whatever it might be, and you need a little more clarity. You need a little more focus. So when we are feeling extra stressed or overburdened or overwhelmed or all the things, this is a really good indication that some things in our lives are needing to shift, or we're needing to shift our perception. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. And one of the best ways for us to really kind of shift out of old patterns and behaviors and things that aren't really doing us service anymore is to find some clarity on what it is we actually want. So we're going to play with this a little bit in our practice. We are all really powerful beings. And when we can really tap into that power, we soon begin to learn that we have the power to create whatever it is that we want. We don't need to be stuck in the day-to-day monotony and the day-to-day mundane things or overbearing things that bring us this stress and anxiety and or depression or whatever it might be. Okay, so I invite you to take a few more breaths. Maybe some things are already popping into your mind as I'm just kind of going on here a little bit about this. So use that as a chance to set an intention. I intend to, or I am, right? You want to try and set an intention in a really positive way, and as though it's already happening. That's going to help it to come into play even more. So I am clear on where I am going and what I want in my life. I am receiving all the things that I am needing. All the ways that I want to feel are here, already happening, right? So you can kind of play with the words, play with what comes to you. Don't necessarily go with my suggestions. This is your practice. Okay, about 3 more breaths here. Take those deep belly breaths. Filling to the top and then getting the bonfire in your belly going with your inward upward lift through the pelvic floor and low navel. Expansions and contractions. Good, one more time. Perfect. So let's just cross our legs the opposite direction. Give a little space to our hips to balance out. We'll have our hands on our knees, draw the elbows down toward the earth, ensure your seat is rooted. We'll start to lift the chest upward, lift the gaze upward. Take a moment here in your seated cow until you're ready to exhale and round your tail under. Guide your chin toward the chest. Invite the shoulder blades to gently separate away from one another. Bend the elbows down toward the earth, heart lifting, gaze lifting. Big breath in, out breath, rounding the tail, chin to the chest. Good, a few more times. Finding that beautiful space through front body and back body, pausing where you need. Just like in our life, we have the choice to focus more on some things and less on others to really create the feelings that we want to feel more and more every day. You have the same opportunity to do this in your practice. Stop where you need to. Give your energy and focus where it's needed. Make the most of your practice as it is yours. Okay, so if you choose it, as you lift up here again, elbows down, heart and gaze lifting upward, you can give a little sweeping here side to side. Notice how this draws attention deeper down into the low back. You can let your head kind of sway with you side to side to bring a little more attention to your neck and shoulders here also. If you want to come into a deeper side stretch as you're tipping to one side, you might set the hand down or the forearm down and let the top arm reach over to that same side that you're leaning toward. Ensure that your sitting bones stay rooted to the earth. And if that felt good, you're coming up through center and down to the opposite side again. It might be your hand, it might be your forearm. Top arm is reaching over to that same side. As you're coming up through center, hands are back to the knees for a moment. We're drawing the elbows down, lifting the chest up, lifting the gaze up. And exhaling, hinging from the hips, bowing down over the legs, folding the head down last. And here you're welcome to take what feels right. Maybe that's swaying here side to side. Maybe it's taking the hands to the floor in front of you. They might just want to stretch out. They might want to walk around your body. Use a few affirmations here to just kind of assist us in letting go and finding what it is that we do want. So as you're here for a couple more breaths, you can finish this sentence, okay? I am surrendering to. What are you ready to surrender to? Good, you can start to draw your hands in closer to the body. We're slowly coming up head last. So taking yourself to where you need to be here. Hands back to the knees, elbows and shoulders down as the heart and gaze lift. Maybe a little deeper with fingertips to the floor. Maybe further by planting your palms under the shoulders and picking your seat right up off of the mat. If it feels okay, you can even lay your head back here. If you don't have any neck issues happening, And of course, it feels good. Beautiful. Let's place the seat back down. Lift the heels of the palms. Press yourself forward with your fingers and invite the head to lift up last. Awesome. So we're going to take the legs out in front of us. Give a moment to move. Do your ankles and wrists want a roll? And cross the ankles just enough that you can come forward onto the hands and the knees. And here with your toes tucked under, start to press down through the palms that are under your shoulders. Fingers are spread and also rooting down, pushing down through those tucked toes. You're going to start to feel as you're trying to push your hands and toes through the floor, all of your body starting to engage. Eventually here, when you feel ready, you can begin to shift your hips up and back, pedaling out your feet, shaking out your head, inviting this posture to look and feel exactly as it needs to today. Let's bend our knees deeply. We'll take a nice big inhalation here and come up and over our imaginary hurdle to plank. From here, we'll send the hips up and back into our downward dog again. So always remember, as you're coming up and over, if your body doesn't feel quite supported, set your knees down into plank, modified plank rather, and up and back. Okay, one last time. Up and over with the inhale. We are coming all the way down to the floor. Knees can come first for support this first round. Exhale slowly down, tops of the feet to the earth as we exhale. Lift the chest up. Maybe lift your gaze up. And stay here for an extra breath. And take the next out breath, releasing back down. Tuck the toes under. Press your way into downward dog. We're going to stay for 3 last breaths. You can look forward. Start moving to the top of your mat as you breathe in with a walk, with a step, or with a hop into your forward fold as you breathe out. We'll take a flat back, breathing in. Folding forward, breathing out. We'll rise all the way up to stand. Start with your knees deeply bent and start to press deeply down into both feet. Feel the whole journey of your legs lengthening, your core engaging in and up, your spine stacking, your arms extending long into the air. You lifting your gaze and feeling that big reach up and still rooting down. And you can start to float the arms back and down here, resting them at your sides for a moment. However, they're still reaching back and down, so you're inviting that chest to be lifting and opening. Maybe you want to tip your head side to side a little bit here too. Good, let's relax the arms to the sides or maybe together at your heart. 3 full breaths here on our mountain. One more inhalation, and with the exhalation, bend the knees and fold forward. Take our flat back from here with the in-breath. Folding forward with the out-breath. We'll move into chair, knees bent, pushing into the earth. Slow and steady as you float the arms into the air. Nice and long through the low spine as we take another full breath. Looking to the fingers if you can. Out breath, folding forward, we'll step our way or hop our way back into a downward dog. Let's prepare our knees, bending them deeply and drawing the right heel from there into the sky. Exhale, we'll take the knee toward the nose, engage the belly and the pelvic floor. Use that strength to step to the top of your mat. And we'll bend through the back knee as well as the front and start exhaling, pushing down through the feet and coming up to stand through the midline, through to the sky. Do you need that steady gaze forward? Maybe you're happy to look up. Maybe you're interlacing your fingers and reaching up. Here, if it feels okay and you want the added opening, extend through the back leg. We'll take 3 last breaths here in our high lunge. Good. We'll take the arms back and down. We're going to hold on to the forearms here, or you might hold on to, interlace your fingers. Okay, bend your back knee a little bit and step your back foot forward enough you can connect the heel down to the ground. So both legs are long here for a moment. We're going to lift up through the chest, lift up through the gaze, and begin to hinge from your hips. We're keeping the front knee as long as it can. However, it may need or want to bend, so invite it to. If the hands are interlaced, they may be comfortable coming over your head a little ways to start opening the chest up a little bit more. And here, just for a couple more breaths, completing this sentence, I am grounding in. Beautiful. Draw your hands toward your low back. You're going to release your hands down to the floor about 6 inches in front of your front foot and let most of your weight shift into that front leg. So your back toes are still in contact with the mat or not. Maybe they're floating up off the floor. And we're going to take a little revolved half moon here. If your right hand is happy to come to your right hip, let it go. You might feel comfortable starting to turn your gaze a little bit more to the side. Or maybe you're reaching all the way to the sky with the top hand and letting that become your new focal point. Beautiful. We'll set the hand back to the floor. Step your back toes nice and far back. And plant your palms and return to your downward dog. Notice that leg you were balancing on, your right leg. You can try turning the toes out toward the long edge of your mat and then pressing back into that hip for a nice release. You may feel the urge to lift up the right ankle and roll it out. And we'll nicely bend the knees again. Take your inhalation, left heel coming up. Exhale, engage the core, look to your left thumb, and step to the top of your mat, pressing down through the feet. As we start coming up into our lunge, both knees stay bent as we rise. So we find that nice evenness in the pelvis. What do your fingers want to do here? Stay wide, interlace. Maybe they want to stay on your hips. That's all good. Feel out any space that's willing to come, maybe longer in the back leg. Maybe you're feeling comfortable lifting the gaze. Beautiful. Arms are coming back and down. Again, you're holding your forearms or interlacing your fingers, bending the back knee so you can step forward. So you still want to feel like you're facing the short end of your mat, lifting up the heart, lifting up the gaze. Exhaling, coming down into your fold. Make sure if your fingers are interlaced, you're really keeping the arms nice and long, hands away from your shoulders. And then they're coming over the head from there as you bow down. Listening to the front knee, bending it as it needs. Back heel stays down on the mat, so you feel nicely connected, nice and stable and rooted. I am grounding in. And this might be a sense of security, a deep knowing, and faith in myself. Last full breath. Beautiful. Slowly, if the hands are interlaced, guide them to your low back. Hands are coming down to the floor, just in front and out wide in front of that front leg. Back toes are staying on the mat for support or lifting up off if you can take it a little further. Left hand staying or moving to your hip or the sky. Another full inhalation. Exhale, hands back around your front foot, back toe to the floor, stepping your way back into downward facing dog. See what little movements your body is craving here. We'll take another breath. And prepare your knees, bending them deeply and taking your inhalation up and over your hurdle. Knees can come down as they did last time. If the strength is there, you're going to tip forward on your toes instead. Lower down all the way or halfway down and transition into your back bend of choice. You might keep that low in cobra as we did previously, or if it's your practice, come up into your upward dog. Pressing down through the hands, lifting through the thighs. We'll take one more in-breath. Use an out-breath to transition into your downward dog, whether you want to come down to the floor first or press right up from your back bend. Use the strength of your core to guide you. Looking forward, we'll take our in-breath. Start moving to the top of your mat with a step or a walk or a hop and into your forward fold. Half lift, breathing in. Bow forward, breathing out. Let's bend the knees and start pushing down into both feet evenly. Taking another balancing twist. So we're starting to lift the right heel as we're coming up to stand. And take the hands to the hips. Keep a nice steady gaze forward. Now here you got a couple of options. One is to keep your toe on the floor and take that right hand outside of your thigh. Okay, across the body, outside of the left thigh. You might lift the toe up comfortably and hold lower onto the outside of your knee. You might feel you can reach and take the outer edge of your foot so the hand comes over top of the foot and onto the outer edge of it. Knee stays bent or leg can lengthen in that final variation. If you're comfortable extending the back arm, you can. As with our last twist, you have the option to change your focal point. So you might start to play with turning your gaze to your back hand. Taking another full breath here in Dancing Shiva. Beautiful. As you come back through center, releasing your left foot all the way toward the end of your mat. We're going to set the knee down to the floor and as far back as it's willing to go and untuck the back toes. So if you want to fold your mat up, you can give a bit of extra cushioning to that back knee if you need it. Okay, so here, fingertips can stay on the floor, heart can open forward. You might take your hands up to the thighs. If you're feeling comfortable going higher, You can start to lift up through the chest, lift up through the gaze, take the fingers into the air. Here, playing with another affirmation, I am rising to. I am rising to. What are you ready for? What are you ready to step into? Last inhalation, exhale the arms back and down. I'm going to tuck the back toe under, just step to the top of your mat. All right, so release your legs for a moment here. Flat back, breath in, and bow forward, breath out. Start rooting down to rise up, making your way up for your balance. Your left heel is lifting this time. Good, hands are on your hips, gaze is in front of you. If you're happy to lift those toes, you're gonna lift up and take the outer edge of your knee with your opposite hand. Okay, remember, toes can stay on the floor as you hold the outside of your thigh. That's all good too. Maybe you're holding on to the outer edge of your foot, extending your leg long if you can. Let's see where you need to go on this side. Beautiful. Draw the leg back in as we turn the trunk back through center and step the foot way back. Knee down to the earth. Make some cushioning if you need it. Hips are sinking low, rising higher if you choose it. Either way, you're going to keep that chest nice and lifted and open, whether you're keeping the fingers down or to your thigh or floating the arms up. I am rising to. Next, exhale, taking the arms back and down. You can plant your palms, tuck your back toe this time, and move your way into downward dog. Awesome. Release your body. One last vinyasa here. We're going to take it all the way to the floor this time. So bend the knees, take your in-breath up and over. Exhale all the way down. Tops of the feet to the earth. We're going to slide the hands forward. So we're coming to Sphinx pose. If it's too much to be here in Sphinx, keep sending your arms further forward so you're not as deeply in the posture. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. Reach up through the crown so you're nice and long in your spine. As we stay here for a few breaths, you might feel as though you want to take this further. So if you do need to, you're just working on keeping the low body really relaxed and seeing if you can start to lift the elbows off of the floor without starting to engage through your seat. Okay, so everything stays soft. Make sure if you are coming higher, shoulders don't start to creep up and cause tension. You've got lots of space happening. Here we are choosing another affirmation. I am opening to. What are you ready to receive? Here you're staying as long as you need. Hands can start to slide forward as you begin to make your way back down to the floor. And let your forearm stack as you settle into a moment on the belly in crocodile. When you get there, really relax everything, your seat. Maybe you're gonna rock it a little bit side to side. Softening everything. And then taking a few moments in child's pose, palms under the shoulders, and pressing yourself back. And knees as close or as wide as needed. And letting yourself settle in. So as you rest here in child's for a few moments, I invite you to kind of visualize yourself. If you had all of the time, energy, freedom, all of the things to really be able to live your best life, I want you to see yourself doing that. See where you'd be, what it would look like, who you're with. Notice your surroundings, what activities you're doing, what it smells like, sounds like, tastes like. And then most importantly, you're going to let all those details go once you have that visualization. You're going to let that go once you can notice what it feels like in that moment. Okay, so let go of all those details of the places and the things. And just hold on to the feeling. Hold on to the sensation. This is what you want. It's not all the stuff. It's not all the material things. It's not necessarily those places that you're looking for. It's the feeling that would come from it that you're really wanting. It's the vibration that you're wanting. So as you're feeling that vibration washing through you now, you might be realizing, oh, I don't actually need those things to feel this because I'm feeling this right now. Right? And that's a really powerful understanding, is that indeed we can invite these feelings in anytime, no matter what is happening within us. And the more we do, and the more we allow ourselves to shift our perception and start to feel these things in our everyday, the more these beautiful feelings come. The more things start to line up for us and begin to really, change our whole world and brings us more opportunities to feel those feelings. So hold on to those sensations. I want you to start to lay down onto your back, start making your way into Shavasana. Okay, allow yourself to really hold on to those feelings as you're resting here today. Hold on to those high vibrations, those feelings of joy and love and excitement and peace and faith and all the good things. And just know the more you come back to this feeling, the more it's going to come. The more power you're going to cultivate. The more you're going to find things coming together for you instantaneously. So once you're settled into the body, you're completely at ease, completely relaxed. Everything from the tips of your toes are soft through your whole body. Everything is completely giving into the softness. And I leave you today with a quote from Buddha. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create. Enjoy this time of rest. Enjoy this feeling you found. Namaste.